Well, it appears the time has finally come yet again to speak about a new game that's come out. Now, people have been talking about Atomfall. Some people said the game was boring. Other people have said the game's pretty alright. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into when I picked up the game. So when I picked it up, I was like, okay, I have no idea what the gameplay is, no idea what this is about. But I do know that the game was coming out for a long time. So I was just wondering to myself, well, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of it and if it's going to be a good game. So here are my thoughts about Atomfall. This game is just another one of those games. This feels like a very soulless game. It's basically Fallout with a lot less going on. And it's also Stalker 2. Which was an incredibly boring game. I hated Stalker 2. I was dying playing that game. It just, what the frick? Nothing was going on. This game is yet another one of those games where you just walk around and you scavenge for materials. Because apparently you have nothing better going on with your time than to run around and scavenge for materials. I don't like games like this. The whole point of the game is to hoard. That's why you're playing the game. Now, what are you hoarding for? Absolutely nothing. But you're hoarding, so thank God. Right? Anyway, you know, man, I will say with this game that the environment is very attractive and beautiful at times. I do like the way that the environment looks. It's very lush and green, and I don't know, people sometimes say that England is God's country, and I can see, oh yeah, and by the way, we're in an English location here. This random black chick named Freya is somehow in the game. Freya, that's a very black name. Oh, black woman dressed up as a soldier. Oh, there's a lot of black women that make terrific soldiers. Oh, we're in England. English setting, at least. Black people are definitely English. Okay. Yes, this game is not retarded at all. So anyways, I like the environments. People say that England is God's country. If this is how England looks, then I understand what they mean, outside of all the Muslims and brown people, Indians, storming the country right now and destroying England. And thank God that Englishmen don't fight for anything anymore these days, so there's never going to be any fear of revolution for their country because, well, no one's going to stop anybody from destroying your country, so that's great. Outside of that, I do like this little metal detector minigame in the game. It's kind of cool, but it's the only thing in the game. This game feels like a bare bones game, you know? It's very interesting that way, but outside of that, this area of the game has a fortress to which I was trying to infiltrate, and I just full on yeeted myself inside. I can skip ahead and show you. So right here, this is I do like the locations, and I like this base because it actually feels like a base, right? You have these palisades up, you have these sirens that fire off if you get close, and then if you try to go through the entranceways, well, there's mines set up at the entranceways, and obviously on the other entranceways, there's these guards sitting there with these giant mech robots guarding alongside them, and there's these huge patrols of units running or walking around. So I like that. Feels immersive. It does feel kind of menacing to infiltrate inside. And, you know, once you're inside and you're being hunted down by these guys, it feels very oppressive. There's enemies everywhere, a bunch of guard towers, there's sentry turrets. It's actually very well designed. Like, this is one of the better military bases that I think I've ever seen in a video game, you know? So they did a good job there, and I am pretty happy with it. And the detection systems, too, regarding stealth, largely are not that bad. Right here, I walk over a landmine, and I was like, screw it, I'm an alpha male. We don't die, so I just kept on running. And, I don't know, the game was pretty interesting for this portion of my gameplay. for the rest of it, the game was very boring, and it feels like the game was lazily made. I mean, when I go inside of the bunkers, inside of the caves, there's really nothing going on inside of them. There's really no gear to pick up outside of like a couple of scraps of this and that. You know, the writing, I appreciate the writing in this game. I think that the way that the characters are written is not terrible. It's just not compelling because it's another one of those games, another one of those Stalker 2, Fallout games. And those games are just not that enticing or fun or interesting. And the stories are definitely not enticing or interesting. The stories are always the same thing. Oh, you're in a wasteland. Oh, you know, you're surviving. Oh, you know, you're collecting resources. Oh, you don't really know why you're here. It's always the same thing. It's just, it's so rehashed. It's like, how do you even bother to convince yourself that this is interesting or to play, to immerse yourself into? I mean, how do you do it? You don't. I mean, well, you can gaslight yourself and you can propagandize yourself and say, well, this is super good because, I don't know, some random reasons. But in reality, it's not really that interesting. So anyway, man, it's just like games like this, they're all they really are. Oh yeah, and then right here, I was sniping fools with my pistol like an absolute alpha male. Watch this. I'm going to get off one of the shots. And then after that, it goes downhill. But yep, watch that. Bam! Victory. Actually, I think I got that guy too. I got 2 of them. And then after that, I started cringing hard. Anyway. So, you know, you get shot at from everywhere. It's actually pretty immersive trying to storm inside of this military kind of occupation. It's kind of interesting. I wasn't really against it, but that's it. I mean, that's all that's really interesting about the game. Outside of this moment here in my gameplay, the game's really boring, right? The bunkers are empty, really nothing going on inside of them. The caves are empty, nothing going on inside of them. And there's no interesting loot. I mean, it's like, these are one of those games where you really ask yourself, why am I playing this game? It's not interesting, it's not fun. It's just a random game where you waste your time, and that's all it is. Okay, bro, can this please, the bottom bar? Can you leave? Piece of filth. Anyways. Yeah, that's okay, thank you. Thank you so much. The robots are pretty menacing. I tried to fight one of them. He did not die. And he wrecked my freaking face. But it's interesting because as I was playing this game, I was really wondering to myself, I was dreaming of a better game as I was playing this game. A game that actually is interesting, because if you're going to come out with a game that's a lot like Stalker 2 or Fallout, you better come out with an actually engaging game. And a game that offers something new and different outside of those games and the little that they offer. Fallout is really not that interesting of a game, not really that fun. There's barely anything happening, and you're just going into the same locations, effectively speaking, and you're looting the same crap over and over again. It's a waste of time simulator. That's all it is. You're a loser if you play these games. And that's something I was ranting about as I was playing the game. I was like, this is just a waste of time. Again, the stories are never interesting. Nothing's going on in the story. The characters are not compelling, and they never are or never will be compelling. There's nothing really going on. It's just same old, you know? For me, I find this tiresome. I find it boring. I don't know why people waste their time with this. There's better games to play. And literally during my playthrough, I was talking about how it's like, what if we had a game where it's like Bannerlord mixed with XCOM, and you start the game, obviously, by yourself, but you slowly start up a military militia. And you can earn and unlock through quests or through other activities as you explore the open world. By the way, the open world is painfully empty in this game. And also very diverse as well. But it's like you're exploring the world and you're slowly collecting these companions that you can level up and give special gear towards. And when you go inside of a cave, there's special materials that you find that can give special modifiers to weapons or armor. Like, for instance, one of my ideas, just at random, is like, what if you have this random material that you wrap around a chest piece for one of your allies that you obviously unlock earlier in the playthrough, that ends up being a companion that follows you around, and they're a part of the militia group that you can grow as you play the game, right? You wrap it in this material, the chest piece, and then you can literally have your allies set themselves on fire, and this upgrade makes it so that they are immune to the fire. So when they're fighting enemies and they're on fire, well, obviously they become a fire hazard to any of the enemies that they're fighting. That's interesting. So now you have this random ally that's always on fire, and they're dealing extra damage or whatever, or they set people on fire who touch them. That's interesting. It would be a lot more engaging if we had a game like that and had mechanics like that, but we don't get things like that. So it doesn't make investigating bunkers and caves interesting because there's nothing cool that you get out of them. And there's nothing that it actually doesn't make any impact onto the rest of your gameplay experience. Nothing changes and nothing gets more interesting because of it. So anyways, I mean, that's one of my biggest gripes with this game. And then outside of that, it would just be so cool if the game was like, instead, I'm wandering around and I'm discovering these random people and I'm completing these random quests, and I'm slowly building up a little small militia group, and we can take over castles together. We can take over militarily occupied regions together. And it's like you're slowly, and obviously certain areas are easier to take over with like 10 companions than 20. But just slowly as you go through the game, just like Bannerlord, for instance, where you can hire a bunch of, you can conscript a lot of these soldiers to fight for you, right? And you upgrade them and stuff like that. Well, imagine a more narrative-like Bannerlord where the maximum companions you can enlist, if you find them all, 20 companions. And you're running around the level in the open world area. You're fighting in these huge military engagements. Your companions can be downed, and if they're downed, it's like XCOM. You have to extract them out or they're forever dead. So you have to extract them, and then you have to, like, let's say you throw them into a buggy, and then one of your companions drives off to your base to then patch up your other companion at the base, right? To revive them. That's an interesting way of dealing with it. And now you've lost 2 of your companions. So now you're running around with your remaining, let's say you have 20 companions, the maximum amount that you can get in the game. So now you only have 18 companions that you're running around with as you're doing quests and whatnot. And of course, the game is scaled around that difficulty of having all these companions following you around. That's interesting. And again, you can upgrade these companions. You can give them specific skills. Maybe they can have specific classes. That would be a far more interesting game, far more engaging, and you're just running around, and you're exploring, and you have all these companions, and you're a small little militia group. Wouldn't that be so cool, right? And you're journeying together and whatnot. A game like this could be made. It could feel like a legit game, because the issue with a lot of these Fallout-like games, the open world is very empty. So it just makes more sense. It's like, what if you're this roaming militia group and you're just completing quests and you're doing things together, and, you know, let's say you go inside of a bunker, or you go inside of a cave, and obviously maybe you should only select so many of your members to go inside of the bunker or the cave like you do in this game, because otherwise it would get really claustrophobic, right? Stuff like that. And then the other ones, they guard the exit or the entrance to the bunker / cave, something like that. And maybe if you find another exit or entrance on the other side of the cave, then you can send a transponder coordinates message to your other companions, and then they meet up with you at some point, right, as you're going through the other side of the level that you end up in from the other side of the cave, whatever. There's different ways to make a game like this, and all I'm really saying in all this, I mean, a game like this could be made, but all I'm really saying in this is, like, you could make a more interesting game. And again, I don't think we have games where you can literally have 100 players on screen like Battlefield, or again, thousands of enemies, or, you know, your fellow NPC units in games like Bannerlord. I don't see how we cannot have a game where we have a small militia group where we manage the gear on all of our companions who follow us around, and they, of course, they have their own tactics. You know, some of them, they try to root the enemy, they try to surround the enemy, they try to corner the enemy, they try to lay down suppressive fire, different things. And the thing about these games is that I hate the scavenging element. So what if instead, right, When you start the game, obviously you're scavenging for yourself and you're looting things for yourself. But over time, you're getting more of these followers and they start picking up things for you. They're looting the environment for you. So you don't have to do any of the looting. Now all you're really doing is that you're giving orders to your militia companions and you're just running around and you're basically now a commander more than a scavenger. And that would be far more interesting of a gameplay loop. That you start off as this guy that just spawns in the world, you're scavenging materials, but then as you continue playing the game, you're getting companion, and they start looting everything for you. And then taking on military bases becomes easier and easier. That becomes more interesting. That's a better game already. I would want to play that game. Now, they would have to change the way that the game's paced a little bit. You know, I think of a game like Metal Gear Solid 5 is a good idea of a game. Going from base to base, you know, the pacing of the gameplay. But you can make a game very easily like this. And then for games like this and like Fallout 4, which these games, let's just face it, these games are very redundant and they feel very empty. You would be offsetting how empty and redundant the games feel when you're walking around with this militia group and you can suddenly be ambushed or suddenly you see an engagement. Maybe you're on a cliffside and you're overlooking this wide expanse, right? Maybe it's a canyon or something and you're seeing a shootout take place and you choose to engage in the shootout and then it's like it happens to be a quest or whatever. We should have far more interesting games than what we're getting today. The games we're getting today, honestly, they feel lazy because they are. And they're not really bringing more to the table than they really should be. So we're just getting these bare bone games that really offer you nothing. And it's just this redundant experience that you've already experienced in other games that really have nothing of worth to offer you. And that's all I have to really say about this game, man. It's just another one of those games. It's boring. It's lazy. I don't like it. My entire time playing the game, I'm just imagining a better game as I'm playing it. And like, here's the thing. I don't want to really hate this game, but there comes a point where we have to have expectations. We can't just keep on allowing these games to do the bare minimum and just be like, oh, well, the developers tried, or, you know, they did this and they did. It's like, come on, man. There comes a point where these developers need to try harder. They do. And the games I'm talking about, it's not that hard to make these kinds of games. There's a bunch of other developers that can do it. Why can no one else just seriously start trying? Just start trying. Try to make something truly creative and interesting to play. Because I've gotten to the point where it feels like I'm just picking up games and they're just these time wasters rather than being an experience for me to really enjoy. I want to pick up a game and get lost within it. And these games are not that. They don't feel like gameplay experiences. These just feel like time wasters. Just redundant time wasters. And I don't like that. It's not that hard, but you know, nowadays we're not trying anymore. I hate it. So there's a way to make this game good, and this game, I'm just gonna say it, it's not good. It's not fun. You can dork around for a little bit and it's like, oh haha, I'm having such a funny time. But it means nothing. It's truly not engaging. Why are you here and why are you doing this? The answer is, you don't have any reason for doing this. You are wasting your time. That's what's happening here. And for me, I cannot stand this freaking dog trash. I don't like it. So anyways, that's everything I have to say about Atomfall. It was really not that engaging of a game. And it's just one of those games where it's like, why was it made? Because it really has no purpose for being made. I don't want to hate the game. I understand the effort that they did put into this game and how much they did try. And for what the game is, this game, if it was $10 or $20, okay, fine. You can screw around for a little bit and maybe have a little bit of fun. But this game is just not really worthwhile. It's not engaging. I did not enjoy it. And I am not really that glad that I spent 2 hours playing the game. You know, 1 hour felt like a lot. 2 hours felt like too much. So, again, man, I just wish that these developers just try to make actual games. I'm honest. Just make something genuinely fun and intriguing. Right now, we're not getting that. And that's really what wears down on me. I just want to play a game that's really engaging. And right now, we're not getting that. Anyways, guys, that's everything here. Do not forget, I've written some books, the stories that we should be getting nowadays. If you're looking for the next best story that should be in our movies and in our games, then check out Charles Arlington on Amazon. Check out my stuff. And with that being said, we are done here, and I will catch you on the next video.